Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, I did get like a foam cover for my mic. So if that does sound better, I don't know, say it in the comments, because personally I really couldn't notice a difference, but I hope it helps get rid of a bit of the background noise at least, because I know for a fact there is construction like right outside my window going on, so if you do hear background noise, that is exactly what that is. But I don't want to waste your guys' time too much. Let's just get right into this video. So last time we left off, Naruto was just heading to the final part of the tuning exams. And, well, as he arrives there, the proctor would, give the entire, introduction thingy, announce what all the matches are gonna be, and say that Neji and Naruto are gonna be fighting first. Of course, as they both step onto the ring, Neji will do his speech about how he's destined to win or whatever, but Naruto really wouldn't listen, he couldn't care less. And it's just, this kind of gets Neji mad for obvious reasons. He doesn't like being ignored, especially when he feels so entitled and wants to win so bad. But with that in mind, Neji is the first one to run straight in at Naruto. And Naruto and Neji actually start fighting pretty equally for the first, half-ish of the battle. But then that is when Neji pulls out his ultimate weapon as he says, "You're in range," and gets down to a certain stance, as he says, 8 trigrams, 64 palms, and strikes strikes Naruto's chakra points over and over and over and over again, and as the title suggests, 64 times, as Naruto is actually surprised by the speed, strength, and mostly precision of this attack. He actually was not expecting that much from somebody like Neji, as he falls backward with Neji just grinning, being like, that should teach him. But this is when Naruto gets back up, and Neji's surprised, is like, how did you get back up? And Naruto's just smiling, and Neji's like, I hit all of his chakra points, I shouldn't have missed any. And suddenly, as Naruto gets back up, a orangish aura starts to appear around him, and just Neji feels immense fear and pressure, just this aura coming off of Naruto. Because it's the Kurama aura mode, that's why there's no aura coming off of Naruto. That's pretty self-explanatory, but Neji is just shocked. And you guys might be sort of curious as well as to how he just completely tanked the 64 palms, and that is because, according to what happens in the original, the Nine Tails does not get affected by the 64 palms technique, as we see, because when Naruto falls down, he goes into the QB influence mode and is able to just continue fighting just like that. So, assuming that this time the Nine Tails is actually on Naruto's side, I don't think this will be any different. And Naruto, using the Kurama aura mode, creates a Rasengan in his hand, being like, it's time to test this out, as he runs in at Neji. But Neji, mustering up the little bit of strength he has, uses a rotation to block the Rasengan. But this doesn't really matter to Naruto, as as this rotation creates a bunch of dust in the surrounding area, he's able to quickly just move to Neji's back as he punches him down into the ground, and then again, knocking Neji out and, well, winning this round of the Chunin exams. Now, all of the other matches go basically the exact same, all the way up until Sasuke's fight, where Sasuke ends up stabbing Gaara through the shoulder, and Gaara goes into his half-transformed state. And in this scenario, as Sasuke keeps fighting this half-transformed Gaara, you might be wondering, wait, but isn't this when the Konoha Crush is supposed to start? Well, yes, but no. Because if you don't remember, Orochimaru is dead. Dead, at least for the time being, due to Naruto. And this means that the Konoha Crush won't be happening. Either way, Sasuke continues to fight Gaara, and due to him not having the curse mark, he's actually able to fight at full strength. And this time he actually is, with his training, with his two Tomoe Sharingan, able to go up against a half-transformed Gaara in his half one-tail state, which is actually really impressive for Sasuke. And this is when he uses his second Chidori, because remember, he can use two Chidori, and then the third one doesn't really work. At that moment, he's not strong enough to do 3 in a row. So he uses his second Chidori, saying, "This time I won't miss." And he stabs Gaara through the chest, knocking him out. And the proctor says, "Sasuke wins." But this is also when Gaara starts transforming, because, he got knocked out, and he starts transforming into the One-Tails. Now, this still counts as Sasuke wins, because he did knock out Gaara, so, this is just the One-Tails going on a rampage. And realizing this, all of the Jonin and Naruto just step in to stop the One-Tails. And assuming that a Genin Naruto, pre-time skip, pre-basically anything, was able to not defeat the One-Tails, but at least wake Gaara up, I'm assuming that an entire stadium worth of Jonin, Chunin, the Hokage, and a bunch of talented Genin should be able to do the trick. So yeah, the One-Tails gets taken care of. Either way, all the matches keep going on and on and on, because the tournament actually continues until the finals, which is Sasuke versus Naruto. And Sasuke does go into the ring, not ring, just the area, being you know what? Maybe I can win. Maybe I can show Naruto I'm powerful, right? But he would be pretty mistaken, because Naruto is still leagues ahead of him, and using his mastered Kurama Aura mode, he's able to absolutely destroy Sasuke, especially when you account for the fact that Sasuke has already used his two Chidoris, so he can't even use the Chidori against Naruto, which just is a big nerf, which means Naruto absolutely destroys him, winning the Chunin exams and getting promoted to Chunin, although Sasuke gets promoted too, and so does Shikamaru, and some others, because, that is how the Chunin exams work. You don't have to win to get promoted. You can just, as long as you do well, you get promoted. That's how Shikamaru was able to get promoted in the original. But you guys probably already knew that, so I don't have to explain that. But either way, this is when we move on to the time skip. Because remember, Hiruzen doesn't die, so they don't need Tsunade necessarily, but Tsunade will come. I'll cover that later. And the Sasuke retrieval arc does not happen because Sasuke does not have the curse mark. And also Orochimaru's dead. All pretty simple. Either way, yeah, time skip. Time skip happens. And Jiraiya and Naruto go off to train, where once again Jiraiya offers Naruto to teach him Sage Mode. But Naruto declines once more, saying again he has a much bigger, greater goal, and explains everything to Jiraiya, everything about baryon mode and how he only needs one last thing to achieve it, blah blah blah, all of that. Either way, Naruto knows that there's no point in rushing baryon mode, so him and Kurama train together as Naruto trains with Kurama, finally managing to unlock KCM, and from there actually opening the cage, fist bumping Kurama, and going all the way to KCM 2. And Naruto doesn't. Now, the way Naruto learns about KCM and KCM 2, because remember, in this version, Kurama doesn't necessarily, know. I mean, he knows, but, doesn't know exactly how KCM and KCM 2 work that well. So Naruto actually goes back to the libraries, the Uzumaki libraries, to get the required books, and anyways, gets KCM 2, pretty simple, which is OP, but realizing that Naruto and Kurama in this have been friends since Naruto was like a tiny baby, it does make a lot of sense. As while Naruto was, continuing to train with Jiraiya, exploring areas, he got a letter from a bird. As he picked it up thinking, why would anyone be, trying to send a message to me now? As he opens it up and it says, urgent, come back to the village, now, the village is under attack. Naruto, understanding the importance of this and how, actually urgent this must be if they sent a letter like this, immediately told Jiraiya about it, and both Jiraiya and Naruto ran back to the village full speed, full strength, Naruto using all of his power to run back to the village just to go in time to, save them from whatever attack is happening. And they would be in the Sand Village, so it would take a little bit of time, but Naruto would in fact come back in time, sort of, which would be, I'll tell you. As Naruto would be getting close to the village, as he would see a huge crater, a crater inside of the village, the size of nothing he's seen before. It looks like a huge meteor just hit the center of the village, and there's this huge hole inside of it, and there is this orange-haired guy with a black cloak in the sky. And Naruto realized who this is, an Akatsuki member. With that knowledge, Naruto uses even more speed, going 105% speed to the village, as right as words, question mark, yes, no, one of the paths of pain is about to attack somebody else. Naruto just goes in, completely decapitating them as the head falls to the ground, and all of the paths of pain turn to look in Naruto's direction, seeing him, as they say, I was expecting you. Took you long enough. So late. Look at all the damage that has already been done to the village. You couldn't come back in time to save your own village. How pathetic. Some hero you are. As this gets Naruto mad, and he's like, if you're so cocky, why don't you just come and fight me? Let's see if you can back up your words. As Pain says, gladly. And Naruto in his KCM2 mode is, well, actually very powerful because, think about it. Naruto using Sage mode was able to defeat the Paths of Pain. KCM is stronger than Sage mode, and KCM2 is stronger than KCM. So Naruto has a pretty big buff. I mean, he was actually able to go like up against even Madara until he got, well, the Ten-Tail stuff using KCM2. I mean, not really, but like you get what I mean. Like, he only had to add Sage mode to KCM2 when Obito did his old Ten-Tails thingy, because he needed like Sage energy, whatever. But otherwise, KCM2 is very OP, and definitely more than enough to take care of the Paths of Pain. And defeats all of the Paths of Pain, including the Diva Path. But Jiraiya, having come back as well, recognizes who these are, and explains to Naruto how, well, these aren't actual people, these are being controlled by one person. And Naruto takes out one of the black rods, and just follows like the chakra, just like he did in the original, tracking it all the way back to where Nagato is hiding, seeing the huge fake paper tree, and barging inside as he says, well, looks like I finally found it. Looks like I finally found what I needed. Oh, by the way, remember what you were saying about me not being strong enough? Well, what happened now? What happened to your bold claims now? Are you gonna come and fight me? As Konan immediately tries to stop Naruto, but Naruto just shoves Konan out of the way. Konan, of course, transforming into paper, reappears in front of him saying, no, don't kill him. You'll have to get through me first. As Naruto says, oh really? And just Konan says, yeah. And Naruto, realizing this, says, well, getting through you isn't gonna be that hard. I mean, you're paper after all. What are you gonna do to me? Give me a paper cut? As Naruto charges up all of his energy, as he goes full strength, just goes straight through Konan and his paper, and goes to stab Nagato straight in the heart. And Konan, seeing this, decided to use her final move, one last-ditch effort to kill Naruto, no matter what. As, remember the ability Konan used against Obito that basically made this huge explosion that lasted for multiple minutes on end, with the crazy amount of explosives? Yeah, that is what Konan uses, having it already set up around the tree, expecting that something like this might happen, but she hoped that she would never have to use this move. But Naruto had to die, no matter what, so she had to activate it. As suddenly, everything started blowing up, and Naruto, realizing this, is just like, oh no, I'm dead. And for 3 minutes, I think, on end, there's just pure explosions, infinite amounts of paper bombs just constantly exploding. And as finally the explosions stop, Naruto looks up as he opens his eyes, and he's like, I'm alive. How am I alive? As he looks at his hands, realizing he's done it. He was able to absorb Nagato in the little nick of time that he had. Naruto was now in baryon mode. As looking up at Konan, Naruto said, "You messed up. You messed up big time." And Konan was just absolutely shocked at the fact that Naruto had just survived through all of that. But she also realized that Naruto was 100 or like 1,000 times more powerful than what he was moments ago. And although she had no idea how he had transformed, she didn't have much time to question it either, as Naruto instantly appeared behind her, killing her as well. And this is also when Naruto, with his new enhanced abilities, sends two presences, one belonging to Zetsu, and the other belonging to none other than Obito. As Naruto used full speed, like his entire full speed, to basically teleport, like not really, but from what Zetsu can see, teleport behind him, as Naruto picked Zetsu up and using, the ability of baryon mode to lower people's lifespan, just basically almost did a chokehold on Zetsu and lowered Zetsu's lifespan all the way down to when Zetsu was basically dead, and just finished him off. And you guys might be like, wait, but that's not how it works. You can't just kill someone instantly just by, yeah, of course not. Of course he's not. I'm just simplifying it because I don't feel like going over Naruto just beating up Zetsu for a while, and I'm just saying he ends up killing Zetsu, and the basic idea of how he does it, because Zetsu is pretty hard to kill, but I'm assuming the lifespan thingy will work on Zetsu. I'm assuming. It's my what if, so I'm just gonna say it does. But either way, the only opponent left would be Obito, who was here to, claim Nagato's Rinnegan. But seeing what Naruto had just done to Zetsu, he understood that Naruto had some sort of ability that could sort of decrease your lifespan. That's what Obito can understand. That's what he thinks is happening just from looking at it. That's what he thinks this ability is, just like this entire mode is. So he just says, well, as long as I don't let him get a hold of me, it should be fine. And if it touches me, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, I can just use my Kamui, as he's thinking that. And Naruto literally uses speeds, kind of teleporting behind Obito, and chops his head off, clean off. Because you guys might be like, but how is Naruto so strong? Obito can always Kamui. No, he really can't. I mean, Obito in this state doesn't even have the Rinnegan and isn't that strong. He's weaker than Madara, he's weaker than Ten Tails Madara, he's weaker than Kaguya, he's weaker than Ishiki, and Naruto is stronger than Ishiki, which means he's tens of thousands of times stronger than Obito, and basically just go at speeds that Obito cannot even keep track of. Naruto can kill Obito hundreds of times over before he can even blink, which is why Obito dies. And of course, so did Zetsu, meaning that is the end of, the Akatsuki, both no longer having Nagato, their quote-unquote leader, not having Obito, who's kind of manipulating him, and not having Zetsu, who is kind of manipulating Obito, or no, manipulating Madara, who's it's complicated, yeah, it's, and then Kaguya is using Zetsu. Either way, kind of getting rid of Zetsu and Obito and Nagato is more than enough to get rid of the Akatsuki. And with that, Naruto becomes the Hokage and reaches a sort of strength that is impossible to be topped by, anyone else. And Ishiki, yes, he does arrive eventually, and Boruto, which I don't plan on going into, but just know Naruto absolutely destroys Ishiki because baryon mode. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be all for today's What If. And if you did enjoy this series, if you did make it to the end of this series, I really do assume that hopefully I did something that was able to keep you watching for this entire time, and maybe that means I deserve a like, but really, that's up to you. So yeah, see you guys next time.